Morning, everyone. Meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone's having a nice Wednesday morning. Another hot day yesterday, and unfortunately, again, continues to look like more of the same as we head into the day today, and again, over the next several days as well. There are some signs that we will see a return to more cooler seasonal temperatures, but not in the cards, at least in the short term. It looks like it could be more of a long-term forecast for us. As again, looks like we're going to continue to see above average temperatures really headline the forecast for the foreseeable future. Again, we're live right now on 1011's streaming platforms, 1011now.com. Again, all of our streaming apps, connected devices, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, Samsung TV. So again, if you haven't downloaded our app on any of those platforms, you can do so. Again, catch us live there throughout the day. Also live right now on 1011's YouTube channel. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, ask you to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Do a ton of different stuff, again, live throughout the day. Again, this is just our daily forecast segment. Again, I'm going to spend 15 or so minutes kind of diving through what you need to know, both locally, regionally, nationally. Again, take a look at Hurricane Francine, expected to make landfall later today down along the Louisiana coast, potentially as a Category 2 hurricane. So we'll kind of go through what you need to know. And again, starting off with, though, a look at what we had yesterday in terms of our high temperatures, because again, it was another hot day across the state, well into the 90s. Normal high temperatures for this time of year, early to mid-September, generally in the low 80s. And again, we had a state high temperature of 97 degrees yesterday. That was Valentine and Chadron. It was 95 here in Lincoln, 92 in Grand Island, 94 in North Platte. So again, very, very warm out there yesterday. And again, maybe a few degrees cooler in some locations today, but again, going to be another hot day across the area with those well above average temperatures. And that, again, is headline number one. And then, unfortunately, we're going to continue to see those above average temperatures continue as we head through the weekend. Again, we talked about this yesterday. There is some signs in the models, longer range, turning maybe a little bit more active as we head likely into the middle and maybe end of the week next week. Again, we had one of the driest August on record here in Lincoln. I believe it was the 27th driest August on record. And again, while we had a trace of moisture yesterday in Lincoln, we still have not had any measurable moisture so far this month in Lincoln through the first 10 days of the month. And again, certainly doesn't look like it's going to be in the cards for us for the day today. So again, we'll look at that as well. So right now in Lincoln, 5 minutes past the top of the hour. Again, a little bit of haze out there, but generally clear skies. 66 your temperature at the airport, 67 in Midtown Lincoln. Just a light south wind at 8 miles an hour. And again, dew points remain comfortably in the upper 40s. Again, that is the one good thing that we have had over the past couple days is there's really been no humidity. That will also be changing as things look to get a little bit more humid as we head into the weekend and then into early next week. Temperatures across the Lincoln Metro right now generally sitting in the middle and upper 60s. Right now, again, one of the warmer spots, 70 degrees, kind of right there. Just north of Nebraska Parkway, also just north of O Street in East Lincoln. But again, generally in the mid to upper 60s across the Lincoln Metro from our Tempest weather stations. Temperatures statewide, again, 56 right now in Ord, 65 in Imperial, 62 in Alliance as well as Wayne, 58 in Falls City this morning. So anywhere from the upper 50s to upper 60s as we start our day across the state. Dew point temperatures, as I mentioned, pretty comfortable, upper 40s, low 50s across the area. But again, these numbers will be climbing again a little bit as we head into the day tomorrow, but more noticeably as we head through the weekend and then into the first half of the week next week, getting back into that muggy to humid territory. Again, with those dew points climbing back to the middle and upper 60s is what the going forecast kind of calls for right now. So again, it has been nice not having to deal with the humidity, but again, unfortunately, that humidity it does set to return, or will return, that is, rather, as we head through the weekend and into the week next week. Winds, again, these could be a little bit blustery at times today. They were a little bit breezy yesterday, but generally out of the south for most locations at around 5 to 15 miles an hour. Again, I think this will pick up just a little bit as we head into the afternoon hours for our Wednesday. Satellite and radar picture looks like this. Again, pretty quiet as we start our day. We check out the visible satellite imagery. Again, you can see basically clear skies across much of the state. We can see a little bit of that smoke aloft that is drifting through the region. That's going to continue as we head through the day today. If we zoom out and look at a regional view, again, you can still see some faint signals of some of that smoke filtering through the region. You can also see much more cloud cover as you head across the high plains to our west, across Wyoming into Montana, where we do have some scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms. One area that we will keep an eye on is down across the southeast. In this image, we can see this is Hurricane Francine, which right now, again, is just off the Louisiana coast. Models from yesterday, from when we looked at it yesterday, have trended a little bit further to the east, with that hurricane potentially making landfall and impacting areas like Baton Rouge as well as New Orleans along the Louisiana coast. So, again, we'll take a look at that more here in just a second. So, again, back to the satellite radar picture. Clear across the state. Again, regionally, again, you can see some of the scattered showers, much more cloud cover as you head off to our west. And if you look out and zoom out to a national view, again, overall things are fairly quiet. Again, the active weather is going to remain across the southeast where we have Hurricane Francine here. Again, not made landfall just yet, but you can see the outer bands and areas of rain beginning to impact, again, southern Louisiana, New Orleans, again, eventually over towards Baton Rouge. Again, this is expected to make landfall sometime either later this morning or into the early afternoon hours. So right now, the current stats on Hurricane Francine: Category 1 hurricane, moving to the northeast at 12 miles an hour, winds sustained at around 90 miles an hour, and the high-end wind gusts right now up to 115 miles an hour. So we have hurricane warnings along the Louisiana coast in red, tropical storm warnings in more of that dark orange color, also along the Louisiana coast and over towards the Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida peninsulas as well. So again, this hurricane going to continue to drift to the northeast around 12 miles an hour. It looks like, again, according to the latest National Hurricane Center forecast, strengthening. They've kind of been going, it's been going back and forth. Yesterday when we talked, it looked like it could make landfall as a Category 2 hurricane. Afternoon forecast from yesterday had it as a Category 1 hurricane, another back to a Category 2 hurricane. But again, you can see making landfall likely early to mid-afternoon time frame today. And then basically drifting to the north from there. So again, going to be dealing with some flooding rains, storm surge, and again, the potential for some severe weather. So again, number of impacts going to be felt along the Louisiana coastline. So if you have friends, family members down there, certainly, again, be mindful of their situation as we head over the next 24 to 48 hours. So again, after landfall, that storm looks like it's then going to kind of curve basically just to the north. And again, you'll notice the difference between yesterday and today. Yesterday, the cone, the forecast cone, again, was basically the middle of it was almost right over the Mississippi River, and now we've seen that shift a little bit further to the east, basically taking it up through the I-55 corridor. In Mississippi. So again, areas like Jackson and then eventually Memphis, Tennessee could potentially see the system impact the area as we head through the end of the work week. So again, obviously something we're going to continue to keep a close eye on here as it makes landfall later today. If you zoom out and again look at a national view and look at the weather alerts, have a number of red flag warnings. So again, high fire danger, dry, breezy conditions. Again, any fire that starts could get out of hand pretty quickly. But a number of red flag warnings across western Nebraska into the Dakotas, Wyoming, Montana, Utah, Nevada, Idaho, Oregon. Also those areas shaded in gray. Kind of hard to pick them out, but there's a couple of them across Oregon into Montana, also across parts of northern Minnesota, southern California. Those are air quality alerts. Again, a lot of that is going to be due to smoke from wildfires that continues to drift through the region. But again, much of the eastern half of the country, though, again, is fairly quiet, not much in the way of any weather alerts currently at this time. So we check out Skycast as we run through our Wednesday. Not a whole lot happening for us in Nebraska. We're looking at mostly sunny skies. Again, maybe some hazy conditions at times as smoke drifts through the area. But again, generally sunny to mostly sunny, that southerly breeze. Again, again, hot conditions expected, but no moisture expected. As we head tonight into the day on Thursday, again, we're going to basically see more of the same. Plenty of sunshine, again, hot and breezy conditions. You can see the cloud cover. You can see the moisture with Francine tracking to the north as we head through the day on Thursday. This is 5 o'clock Thursday. Again, nothing really going on for us, but again, those areas across parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, even into parts of Arkansas are going to be dealing with, again, the remnants of Francine. And then Thursday into Friday, again, that will continue to track to the north towards Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana. Again, kind of, weakening as it does so, but still, again, going to be generating a lot of rain in those areas. Would be nice if we could have ended up getting some of that moisture, but unfortunately, not in the cards for us today. This is Friday morning. Again, you can see dry across Nebraska, a few clouds, but generally quiet. And then as we head into Friday afternoon, again, not a whole lot changes. Maybe a little bit more cloud cover, but again, generally looking at dry conditions across the state. Again, remnants, moisture from Francine, spread across much of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee. But by 5 o'clock Friday, that activity looks like it would be much more scattered across the area, isolated to scattered activity of some of that remnant moisture. In terms of the smoke, again, most of the smoke as we head through the day today is going to remain across the far northern plains into southern Canada, as well as down across the far southwest. But again, still some smoke drifting through the state. So again, could see some hazy conditions at times through the day today. And then as we head into the day tomorrow, again, maybe clearing out just a little bit, but again, still plenty of smoke off to our west that's going to continue to drift through the area, again, depending on how the upper level pattern kind of continues to shake out. So again, just something to be mindful of. Expect mostly to remain aloft, not really going to impact the surface or drift down to the surface much at all. So again, if you're sensitive to the smoke in the air, you may notice something, but otherwise for the rest of us, it may just be some hazy skies at times. Severe weather outlook for the day today, again, obviously with Francine making landfall on the southeastern seaboard and the Gulf Coast, they have a marginal and slight risk for severe weather in those areas. Again, oftentimes with tropical systems, we do end up with some severe weather. Oftentimes when we have hurricanes making landfall, we do have the potential for some tornadoes, especially, again, with all the twisting and turning of the winds. Again, the hurricane is just, again, an extremely tight, low-pressure system. Again, doesn't have the fronts with it, but again, you have a lot of twisting and turning of the wind, so again, very easily can have severe weather. Also do have a marginal risk for severe weather across parts of Idaho, Montana, into the western Dakotas. As we head into the day tomorrow, marginal and slight risk across parts of eastern Montana, western Dakotas. Again, also have a marginal risk as Francine continues to track to the north. And then on Friday, we do have a general thunderstorm risk across parts of central into western Nebraska, but no severe weather expected across those areas. So 7-day precipitation potential looks like this. Couple things. One, again, we can see the eastward track in the models with Francine. Again, that corridor of really heavy rain was basically centered right over the Mississippi, and again, now you can see it's kind of along and just to the east of the Mississippi River across much of Alabama and Mississippi into western Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, eventually up towards Kentucky and extreme southeastern Missouri. Again, so those areas could see 4, 5, 6 inches of rain. The other thing, piece of good news is we actually have some moisture starting to show up across Nebraska. Yesterday when we looked at this, again, Lincoln, eastern Nebraska, much of central Nebraska, really nothing was expected as we headed through the course of the next week. But now, again, we do have the potential for some moisture in the forecast, likely not until towards the end of this 7-day time frame, but it does look like, again, at least a little bit could be in the cards for us. We'd take anything at this point right now. Again, very dry August and been a very dry start to September for us. As far as temperatures are concerned, another hot day today, maybe not quite as hot as yesterday, but we're still looking at highs reaching the upper 80s to low to mid 90s across the state today. We're going to go 92 in Lincoln, 89 though in Grand Island, 88 in Hastings, 91 in North Platte, 96 for Valentine this afternoon. Lows tonight into Thursday morning. We're going to look for 50s to low 60s. These are above average. And then into Thursday, more above average temperatures, but we'll say mid to upper 80s for most areas, with a few locations, Lincoln included, maybe touching 90 degrees for the day on Thursday. Thursday night into Friday, again, it's generally upper 50s to low 60s for low temperatures. And then on Friday, maybe again a few degrees cooler, Generally, though, still in the 80s, and these numbers for many locations are still at least a few degrees above average for this time of year. Extended forecast for Lincoln looks like this. Again, staying hot and breezy Wednesday, Thursday. Again, dipping into the 80s, though, then as we head Friday into the weekend, but generally in the mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Again, our average high now is 82 degrees, so again, these are still above average. And then you see as we spill over into early next week, it's 87 Monday, but then back to around 90 degrees on Tuesday. Right now, low-end chances for precipitation in the forecast as we head through the weekend into early next week. I do expect eventually that these will climb up a little bit as forecast models kind of become a little bit clearer, as we're going to have more of a vigorous upper level trough begin to move onto the western seaboard, and that I think is what's going to be potentially changing our pattern as we head in the long term in the forecast, as we head again middle and late next week and potentially into the following weekend. That could bring us some additional moisture. So 10-day forecast looks like this. You can see through most of this 10-day period across the state, we're generally looking at above average temperatures. It's late next week and then potentially into the following weekend that it does look like we do see temperatures fall just a little bit back to the 70s to right around 80 degrees. Again, that's pretty close to normal for that time of year. Again, as you get towards the September 20th, 21st time frame. So again, going to be dealing with, at least in the short to medium term, time frame, with some of these above average temperatures. 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. This takes us from September 18th through September 24th. This again does still have through the whole period generally above average temperatures, or again better than average odds at above average temperatures, but at the same time it does have better than average odds of seeing wetter than average conditions through that time frame as well. And again, I mentioned it, but this is one of the reasons why. So looking at the upper level pattern, this is this morning, but as we go through the next week to 10 days, we can see right now kind of an upper level ridge dominating the pattern across much of the country. And again, so that's led to some of the hot conditions, some of the breezy conditions, and also definitely some of the dry conditions that we've seen. Upper level trough will kind of dip into the northwest, but then kind of get sucked northward, so don't really get anything from that. But as we head into early next week, we can see that more potent trough of low pressure begin to move along the western coast. So again, this is 10 p.m. by next Wednesday, and it's going to be this upper level trough that then digs its way across the country that could lead to that wetter pattern emerging as we head towards the middle and end of the week next week. So again, that's kind of one of the things that I'm going to keep a close eye on here as we head over the course of the next week to 2 weeks, kind of see how that feature changes in the models. Again, that's still long term, so again, it still has plenty of room to change, but again, would definitely like to see a little bit of a pattern change. Definitely would like to get away from some of the above average temperatures, and would definitely like to get away from certainly the drier than average conditions that we've seen over the past not just several days, but probably over the past 4 or 5 weeks or so, dating back into the month of August. So that's all I have for today. Again, we'll keep an eye on Hurricane Francine, expected to make landfall later today. Again, you'll hear about it again in the newscast likely throughout the day today. Appreciate everyone for tuning in and for watching as always. Again, this is a segment live forecast update that we try and do just about every day, Monday through Thursday, starting at 9 a.m. So again, if you like what you see, appreciate it. I hope you tune in for more. Again, if you're on that 1011 YouTube channel, again, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Otherwise, you can catch us live throughout the day from the 1011 Now streaming studio on 1011's live platforms, including on 1011now.com and all of our streaming apps on Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, Samsung TV. We're on a number of those streaming apps. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. As always, keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online, for all of your latest news, weather, and sports. Hope everyone has a nice Wednesday.